Hey everyone, today we're in this 2021 Toyota RAV4 Adventure all-wheel drive. MSRP on this is about $34,000 when it was new. And in this video, I'll be giving you my impressions on it as I've had it for about 3 days and put about 700 miles on it. So let's go ahead and walk you around it. So this 2021 RAV4 Adventure does have some miles on it. It's a rental car from Enterprise. It's got about 60,000 on it and it's finished in black. The Adventure package adds some different styled wheels and some cladding on the side, and adds a different all-wheel drive system with I believe torque vectoring. This looks pretty good for a RAV4, and yeah, I mean, it's just like any other crossover. You do get LED headlamps with fog lights as well that are halogen, which are actually really nice. This here is not metal at all, it's plastic, and it does seem to be dented in a little bit down there. But yeah, just your basic crossover. Looks pretty nice. Let's go ahead and check out the back seat. All right, let's climb in. Back here, it's pretty comfortable. You do get a mat pocket and a couple vents, along with 2 USB ports down there, and a pull-down center armrest. These seats are really plushy. I believe these are the SofTex material from Toyota. Pretty nice place to be. I'm about 6 foot. The driver's seat's set to my position. I got about 2 or 3 inches of legroom back here and about 4 inches of headroom. So plenty of room to lounge around. These seats recline pretty far back, which is actually kind of nice as a passenger back here. You can't adjust them, unfortunately, like you can in some other cars like the Honda CR-V. But needless to say, it's very comfortable. Go ahead and give you a quick shot of the dash here. I really like what Toyota did with the dash up here. You get the orange accents with the Adventure package, and these seats have orange stitching, and so does the dash as well. Really nice, and I think it looks really good in here. All right, let's go ahead and check out the trunk. It's not a power liftgate, just some gas shocks on the sides, or struts. Under this mat, you do get a spare tire, and kind of comes apart there, and it's kind of difficult to put back on, but once you get it down, it's okay and ready to go. Plenty of space back here to put some suitcases and groceries, and this one comes with a cargo shade, which is really nice. Over here you get a 12-volt outlet and actually a 120-watt plug. I believe this Adventure package comes with a upgraded alternator too, so you can like plug in something back there and actually use it, which is nice. All right, and the driver's seat is power, the passenger seat is not, and these are not heated seats as well, but needless to say, they are extremely comfortable. Okay, up front here you get a nice leather wrapped steering wheel with your radio controls and your Toyota SafetySense controls. You do get an infotainment system here with a backup camera that I'll kind of go over later, and dual zone climate control, a place to put your phone, a USB port, a 12-volt outlet, and all your drive modes and your terrain select modes with brake hold. It's nice to see an 8-speed automatic transmission instead of a CVT. A couple cup holders and a center console with a couple USB ports. It's pretty big. It's not too terrible. And over here you do get a nice size glove box and some storage here and here, which is really nice to see. You do get illuminated visor mirrors as well, and a sunglasses holder along with a manual dimming mirror. Let's go ahead and take this thing for a spin, and I'll talk about the rest of it while we drive. So as we begin to drive off here, you can definitely hear the engine noise. This engine is very raspy. It's not really refined and smooth. I had a couple of my buddies in here on this the business trip that I was on, and they thought the engine was going to blow up. It was that loud, and I assured them everything was fine. It's just the raspy note of the 2.5 liter 4-cylinder up in the front there. Now that 2.5 liter 4-cylinder is mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. Overall, it's pretty smooth. It's definitely programmed on the economy side, quicker shifts, but it's pretty responsive when you put your foot down. No complaints there at all. This 2.5 liter is pretty peppy. There's nobody home down low, so if you're trying to drive this in the city, you really got to wind the engine out in order to get the power out of it. But once you wind the engine out, it definitely gets up and goes. Now the infotainment is kind of lacking. This is the 2021 model, and I know in 2023 they updated the infotainment and it's significantly better. So I won't really go into that too much because I know they fixed it. It does have Apple CarPlay. I believe it does have Android Auto too, and it has a backup camera that is a decent quality as well. No real complaints there. The speakers are pretty good. They're not terrible. And overall, it's okay. But like I said, they've updated it and it's a lot better now. You do get your drive mode selector down here. So you can put it in Eco, Normal, or Sport mode. And you also can change it to like a Rock and Dirt drive mode and Mud and Sand, which kind of turns the traction and forward collision alert off. But we're not going to be really messing around with that because we're driving on pavement. But what that does is pretty much changes the all-wheel drive system, and I think the distribution of torque between the front and the rear, and just helps you get out of some things. Now while we're driving here, I do want to talk about the Toyota SafetySense. I believe this is the 2.0 version. It is terrible. I found myself during this trip not using the cruise control at all and not using the lane keep assist at all. The lane keep assist, the lane tracing assist, actually I should say. And this system is terrible. It literally just bounces all over the road and it loves to hug the right side of the line. It's kind of scary when you're passing like semis or something and you just start drifting over to the right and you're like, no, and you're just consistently fighting it. It's not really an assistance system at all if you're continuously fighting it. The adaptive cruise control system too is pretty terrible because every single time you activate it when you get in the car, it resets your following distance to the largest amount you can. So every single time you have to adjust it to the following distance you want, which is really annoying because I'm used to vehicles that, you know, have the following distance set since the last time you used it. And, you know, when you're trying to drive in the city or, you know, in traffic or something like that, and your car starts slowing down way ahead of the car in front of you, that's really annoying. At highway speeds, if you set this at like 75 miles an hour, it will consistently go 74. It will not go above, it will not go below, it will go 74 according to the digital display right up there, even though it's set at 75. That's really annoying. You have to keep that in mind that you have to set your cruise control 1 mile an hour over than what you actually want. Now, as far as fuel economy goes, I was extremely disappointed. On my way down to Indianapolis from up in northeast Ohio here, I got, according to the gauge cluster, 40.2 miles a gallon. And I was shocked. I was like, wow, okay, I'll take 40.2 miles a gallon. But you know, something in the back of my head was like, hey, you should double check that. So I did the math, I calculated the trip and calculated the amount of gas I used for the trip, and I was getting 28.6 or 7, I believe, which is way off. And that's something in line to what I was expecting out of this, considering keeping up with traffic and stuff down through there. But I'm not sure what sort of wizardry of computational stuff is going on there to calculate the fuel mileage, but it is far from accurate. Let me know if you guys have one of these, if you run into the same issue in the comments below with the fuel economy being that far off. It's kind of disappointing and kind of misleading, to be honest with you. Decent amount of power. It's really not that bad. It's actually kind of funny how it revs to almost 8,000 RPM. The one thing I will say is it is kind of loud in here, especially at highway speeds. You really have to crank up the radio and crank up the phone call when you have that on. And it's actually kind of hard tough for the other person to hear you on the other line too, due to the road noise. I believe this Adventure package comes with like Falcon Wild Peak tires, which are not on this right now because it's got like 60K and they replaced it with some cheap Junkos. But you know, keep that in mind that it's probably going to be a little bit louder with the road noise in this car because of the more aggressive tires. As far as interior quality goes, everything in here is pretty high quality. Everything's pretty soft to touch. I really like the stitching, like I mentioned before, all the way around. And it seems to have held up pretty well for having 60,000 on it. No really loud creaks or rattles. You know, there's some. Besides this massive hole in the carpet, but this is a rental car, so keep that in mind. It's probably been kind of abused as well. Now, one more complaint that I really have an issue with is the side mirrors. Both side mirrors shake pretty good when you're going on the highway and you hit some bumps. And, you know, with Ohio, you're consistently hitting bumps. And, you know, it makes it really hard to see out the side. They do have blind spot monitoring, though, as this car does have a considerable blind spot in the back right corner. You know, the pillar back there, I don't know if you could see that. Definitely get this car with blind spot monitoring. All right, let's do a quick 0 to 60. Let's go ahead and put this in sport mode. Come to a complete stop and punch it. Not too bad. Put back in normal. Gets up to speed pretty decent. So all this being said, I think this is the perfect rental car. I think Enterprise should just sell everything they have and just buy like Toyota RAV4s. They're pretty comfortable. They're decently quiet. You know, if they fix the cruise control system, it would be even better. But you know, the running joke about, you know, Nissans being rental cars, I think this is take the cake. I'm not sure I would own one of these, you know, for the price and the features that are in here. It's really kind of a bummer that this one doesn't have heated seats, especially for the $34,000 price. It probably wouldn't cost them that much to add heated seats. It's getting kind of cold here in the Midwest in the mornings, and when I got in it, I was freezing when I sat down. And especially for this being an adventure package, you know, where it's designed for, you know, going off-road in these adverse climates and stuff. You know, you'd think they would have added heated seats. It's just at the horn. Now, I really like the steering on this vehicle. It's very responsive. You know, it handles decently well for a crossover, and it's kind of fun to drive. It's fun to throw around some roundabouts. I've definitely enjoyed my time the past 3 days. You know, I've had a lot of little complaints here with this vehicle, but overall, it's not bad. It's just, I'm not sure it's worth purchasing. You know, I would rather probably just get something like, you know, an XSE or something like, you know, maybe stepping up to a 4Runner or a Highlander. I just don't see the value in this specific trim right here, unfortunately. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this 2021 Toyota RAV4 Adventure all-wheel drive. Stay tuned. I'll definitely be uploading some more videos. I got a special treat for you guys coming here soon. And yeah, follow me on Instagram at Paul's Place YouTube for some behind-the-scenes content and different things. And we'll go ahead and see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.